Okay, this is just to alert anybody that is going on a cruise or any kind of trip with a company and you purchase travel insurance. Read the policy well. Sometimes there are better policies that include the unknown. The coronavirus was not known to us and we got caught and we're hoping for a resolution.
Today, I'll be speaking on behalf of myself and my wife. Our names are Richard and Diane Maladoshin. We live in Long Island, New York, which is a suburban fringe of New York City. Our ages are 69 and 68, respectfully. We're both retired and we're living on a fixed income. I would first like to thank the consumer platform for a chance to speak with you regarding our disappointment in the decision of the AON Affinity Group in negating our request for a full refund on our river cruise in which we canceled in March of 2020. As you know, AON, I'm speaking of, since your company is located in Garden City, New York, the coronavirus pandemic was more than introducing itself to us at that time. In fact, it became an unwelcome house guest from hell, killing nearly 30,000 New Yorkers. We were hit really bad. I'm sure some individuals in your AON group uh, experienced some grief over the loss of losing loved ones, as my wife and I have during the past 7 months. Now, to the point of our situation. My wife and I canceled our trip to Holland because of the direction our government was leaning regarding unnecessary travel to other countries at that time, especially Western Europe. The coronavirus was raging across the globe then. When we heard this infectious disease could be possibly lethal to some seniors with pre existing conditions, we decided to cancel our river cruise vacation, as many other Americans did choose to do so then also. This was no easy decision to make. We were looking forward to this trip very much. We were on a previous river cruise with Uniworld to Normandy, France, a couple years ago, and we enjoyed it tremendously. But wisely, the decision to maintain our health and safety took precedence, as I have prediabetes and hypertension to the extent that I take medications for both conditions. According to the scientific data that we heard at the time in March and read about regarding the coronavirus affecting seniors with these pre-existing conditions and complications, I should say, they might have been risk factors for me personally. I acquired this, if I acquired this virulent virus. Out of abundance of caution, we canceled our trip. And who could blame us? Have any of you personnel at AON Affinity Group canceled any plans in the past 8 months? Canceled any weddings, baptisms, graduations, bar mitzvahs, family reunions, etc., etc.? My bet is that you guys have, or someone in your organization has, experienced these inconveniences this year. When my wife and I initially contacted AON Affinity for information regarding our denial of a refund, she was told that the underwriters of our travel insurance policy wouldn't support our request. The representative at AON Affinity explained that since the policy didn't include the novel coronavirus as a reasonable reason to cancel, our refund was refused. I say novel coronavirus, it was new to the world. My question to AON Affinity is this: how could it be included in your policy when the disease wasn't recognized as potentially deadly disease in March of 2020, the first major global pandemic since the 1918 Spanish flu? My wife and I are not planning to go overseas anytime soon. We are very disappointed in the fact that our refund was denied by AON Affinity Group, especially when our cruise was suspended after our cancellation. The cruise didn't go. In ending our case, my wife and I are looking forward to a favorable outcome regarding this matter in requesting the refund in the amount of $8,072.94. It's the reason we purchased travel insurance in the first place. Isn't that the reason anyone gets insurance? Please we're hoping that AON Affinity Group does the right thing in this case. Any documents that AON Affinity needs from me, please, they can contact me. I have no problem with that. I'm glad to provide them with whatever they need. Okay, so that's basically it from our standpoint.
I believe 2 times, and the last time on the phone, the representative from AON said the underwriters are not changing the policy, therefore you won't get a refund. And she said to me, I totally understand why you need to pursue this further. The representative said that, but she was just a representative. She's saying that the underwriters, because she checked and they checked down the line, and the answer was no, no refund because it wasn't in the policy, period. I think on the phone, now that I'm thinking back, and I probably should have kept better records, but I did ask to go up the ranks. And so at one point, I got the second person that said she had checked, and the answer was no. And I started with Uniworld, by the way, and Uniworld said you had this travel protection company, you got to deal with them. And basically, what they offered us was 2 vouchers for the next 2 years. But we don't want to travel for 2 years, and we don't want our money tied up.
Uniworld River Cruises.
And they use that company, that travel protection company, for their, when you want insurance for a cruise with Uniworld, they referred us, or was it our travel agent?
I think our travel agent.
Okay, maybe our travel agent referred us to AON. They're on Long Island, and we had them before, so we just figured, we'd go with them again. I do see online they don't have good responses in terms of refunds. The credit.
Yes, the credit was the $8,072.94. Now, Elena, one thing.
Wait a minute. We want that converted to a refund instead of a credit.
Yes.
That's the bottom
Now,
line.
the one thing, actually, there's 2 points here. One you probably know, but when we had it canceled, when we canceled, and I don't know why they did this, but the insurance company actually sent us and credited us the amount of the insurance policy. Came to almost like $900, but they gave me that back, which I didn't expect that back, Elena. I know maybe I'm giving away 900 now, but I can't help it. I'm an honest guy. Listen, when you buy insurance, you don't get the insurance money back. You just get what you paid for the insurance to get back. But they sent me that 900, so I didn't include that in the $8,072.94. But if they wanted to detract that, the amount of the insurance from that amount, that wouldn't hurt us because that's honesty. The amount that we paid for the insurance, if we got the full refund that we wanted, that I would have to pay back to them. And I understand that. And I want them to know that.
I think at the time during this whole mess, we just, we were so overwhelmed with the whole virus and everything else. We really didn't even go further into this. And it's just, within the last month or so, I'm thinking that this whole thing wasn't right. So
Right.
it seems a little backwards. We got this little incentive. And I think the incentive they gave us was like, go away.
And number two, in all honesty, they didn't know about my pre-existing conditions. I never thought that was that important
When we filed.
when we filed.
Yeah.
And I don't know if they were germane to our case. So, my pre-diabetes, my hypertension, I know I didn't tell them about that. I don't know if they needed any support from a doctor or anything. I could sure give them that, no question. But they didn't know that, Elena. So I want you to know that. If you go through this and they say to you later on, well, we didn't know we had you know, we didn't tell them that. That we didn't tell them. So it sounds sensible to me. If there's a coronavirus pandemic, the largest in 100 years, we canceled because of the reasons that I've stated. And for us not to get a refund, especially when they canceled the cruise itself, I just, we don't understand when we feel that there's a right and a wrong in this case, and it's very simple. Uh, and that's my
Yeah, and I'll
interpretation.
just say I really want other people to realize that this can happen. So you have to really be careful with I almost feel like we shouldn't have had travel insurance because we might have been better off without it. So, it's just a warning, a heads up. Really, I think there are other kinds of insurance that covers the unknown, but who would have known?